Greetings, everybody. This is Morning Eggnog. My name is James Font, and with me, as always, Caleb Font.
Good morning, everybody.
So, Caleb, it is 6 in the morning, as it always is.
It is 6 in the morning.
And so what did we do for well, I did it for pretty much 12 hours yesterday. What did you do yesterday?
I cleaned the house.
And then?
And then I ate lunch.
And then?
I played video games.
Which video games?
I played Rainbow Six and Minecraft.
And how old are you?
I refuse to explain. I'm 30. I'm 30, everybody.
Well, the worst part is I played Minecraft, I think, basically nonstop. This is hard for me to admit. I think for 12 hours yesterday.
12 hours.
I got up before my wife at 9 o'clock, and I sat on the laptop watching TV and played Minecraft. And then she got up and sat next to me, and we continued watching. Yesterday was Sunday, so we just sat around all day. And that was the goal of the day, was to do nothing,
Was to
which
relax.
is fine.
Yeah.
But I played Minecraft for, I'm pretty sure, around 12 hours.
Well, I guess you're dedicated then.
Yep, and I'm not allowed to touch any devices this evening when she gets home.
Is that a rule?
Yep.
Was that your rule or her rule?
Her rule.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
No.
I
made an epic town with Caleb. He made a pyramid.
An epic pyramid.
It was pretty
It
epic.
has its own ecosystem inside.
So, anyways.
Clouds and fluffy bunnies.
So now that we got that out of the way, I will start us off with the 6 most bizarre items mailed through the postal system.
Ooh, this should be entertaining.
Today, a familiar phrase from Herodias' work is engraved outside of James Farley Post Office building in New York City. Neither snore.
Neither snore nor fine.
Actually, snore probably does get in the way of some people's mail.
I could believe that.
I would snore. Neither snow nor rain, that's why I said it, nor heat nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds.
It sounds like the motto for the Rescue Aid Society.
What?
The Rescue Aid Society.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, come on. The rescuers down under.
Oh, the rescuer, like the mice?
Yeah, the mice.
Oh, I've just heard it called.
Rescue
I just heard it called the rescuers.
Society, heads held high, touch the sky. You mean everything to me.
I haven't seen it in a very long time.
Yeah, it's great. They're both good. They're both good.
Since the beginning of the U.S. Postal Service in 1775, mischievous citizens have
Cheesy people.
constantly pushed the envelope when it came to challenging their local mailmen. Here are a few strange things that have been sent through the mail.
Please tell me one's a cat.
One's a chameleon.
Oh, close enough.
Works. In 1914, 5-year-old May Pearsoff was sent from Garageville, Idaho, to visit her grandmother in Lewiston, Idaho. When it came to buy tickets, Pearsoff parents discovered that sending their daughter through the postal service was cheaper than buying bus fare. Pearsoff, who weighed less than 50 pounds, was sent through the mail at chicken rate.
Oh my gosh.
Before Pearsoff boarded the train, her parents clipped 53 cents to her coat and sent her on her way.
That is amazing.
Upon her arrival in Lewiston, the postmaster personally delivered the young girl to the grandmother's house. 60 years later, the practice of shipping humans through parcel service became illegal.
If you think about it, that is actually really smart. I thought like they stuffed her in a crate or something.
That would have been really pretty funny, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they just clipped her as chicken rate.
Yep.
And then
Here's
put
a chicken.
Here's a chicken. Wait, what?
Do the chicken dance, honey. You'll
What?
blend right in. In August, yeah. In the August 17th, in the August 7, 1895 issue of the New York Times, Miss Daisy James from the New York Post Office noted that dead birds and other small animals were sent to taxidermists throughout the country. Makes sense. She also handed various strains of smallpox, diphtheria, and scarlet fever that were shipped by physicians to National Health Board.
Oh, goody. I'm glad nothing ever happened to that.
Well, if you think about it, like trains go by all the time, and they probably have some pretty toxic things, or, if they fell over, they'd blow up a city.
But usually they have safety precautions and
Still.
things.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Buildings, the largest thing. The largest thing sent through the mail in 1916, a young businessman by the name of William H. Coldharp decided to construct a new bank on the corner of the street, that doesn't matter, in Utah. Of course, Coldharp couldn't send a complete building through the mail. Of course, wall by wall. But Coldharp wanted the best bricks in the area and decided to have those bricks sent in from Salt Lake.
Alrighty then.
All 80,000 of them.
Yeah, to build a building, yeah.
He reasoned that the parcel post was the most inexpensive way to ship bricks for construction.
Ship bricks.
Ship bricks.
Ship bricks.
If you see the thing in the background, you'll ship bricks. The bricks in separate crates weighing less than 50 pounds weight limit. Somehow, around 40 crates were shipped each time.
Alrighty then.
Pets. This one's pretty funny. Some patrons have resorted to sending their beloved pets through the postal system. In December 1954, a man named David from Fostoria, Ohio, decided to send his pet chameleon through the mail. This is the letter he wrote.
Well, there's a letter.
There's a letter.
Ooh, this should be good.
It says, "Dear Sir, I am sending my chameleon because I live in Fostoria, Ohio, and it is too cold for him here. Will you please let him loose? P.S. Could you let me know when he arrives there okay? Then very much, thank you. Thank you very much." Then, I'm reading it the way it's written, which was confusing. "Then you very much, I am so worried about him. Dear David, I received your chameleon yesterday, and he was immediately released at the post office grounds. Best wishes, Merry Christmas."
Very, very fun.
By far the most expensive item to be shipped through the mail was allegedly cursed hope diamonds. In November 1958, Harry Winston donated the diamond to the Smithsonian Institution of National Jewel Collection, valued over $1 million at the time.
When was this?
1958. So much more than that.
Oh yeah, that the appreciation for that would be.
The diamond was shipped to the museum for only $145, which mostly the package was insurance.
Yeah, insurance and armed guards.
That is from mentalfloss.com.
You gotta love mental floss. All right, so my next story is about a cruise ship, and this one's from Fox News. So a passenger aboard the P&O Britannia cruise ship used furniture and weapons after a brawl broke out on the last day of a week-long trip to Norway. According to the report, a passenger dressed in a clown attire sparked a massive brawl in the buffet area, which left 6 people injured.
A massive brawl.
A massive brawl. This left 6 people injured.
So think about this. You're just sitting in the dining area, hanging out.
Well,
You're on a cruise.
It's a black tie affair, okay?
Oh, crap. So you're sitting there with your lovely wife. You're in a tie. She's in her nice evening dress.
You're sipping on several cocktails.
And this clown busts in.
And a clown comes in.
What's your first thought? Leave your comment down below.
Yeah. So he is in addressed attire.
Oh, he is.
He is. Well, as a clown, I don't think he was in bow tie, and well, he might have been, but it might have been a clown bow tie. I'm not real sure. There's not a lot of imagery. I guess if you look it up, you probably will find something. But anyway, the cruise ship was sailing to Norway. Onlookers fled in fear during the violent affair, which occurred early Friday morning.
This just instills more fear of clowns.
I know, right? Which occurred Friday morning during a black tie evening of heavy drinking and patriotic partying on deck. So maybe he said something he shouldn't have.
Maybe patriotic partying.
So anyways, yeah. So the brawl was caused after one passenger took offense to another person dressed as a clown.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. One witness, part of the group involved in the trouble, explained to the staff that the things kicked off when another passenger appeared dressed as a clown. This upset one of the party because they specifically booked a cruise with no fancy dress. Okay.
Me and Matilda booked this cruise so we wouldn't have to dress up.
And it led to a violent confrontation.
Violent confrontation with a clown.
The buffet area of the ship was sealed following the fight, and medical teams were seen helping those injured.
It sounds kind of like a nightmare I had once. You're on a cruise ship. You can't leave because you're on a cruise ship, and there's an evil clown.
It wasn't the clown's fault. Somebody took offense at the clown.
Oh, but what was the weapons part?
I guess they probably used furniture as weapons, and it was a diner, so maybe forks, knives,
I guess.
spoons. I will spoon you.
Ooh, scoop out your eyes.
But anyways, it says this gentleman was alerted to the disturbance after 2 a.m. Announcement had
Of course, it's at 2 a.m.
Yeah, requested security at the ship's 16th floor restaurant. He tweeted on Saturday that there was blood everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
Witnesses told me that they were so frightened they had to hide as family groups fought, he said. We're
laughing about this now, but
I imagine it was rather disturbing.
it was an exciting evening.
It puts a new term on ballroom blitz. Something about a clown walking in.
That's just terrible. That's just scary, dude. You're just hanging out.
Just hanging out.
Suddenly, this guy gets mad,
sipping a margarita.
Stabs a clown in the face.
Probably wouldn't be a margarita, it'd be more like a martini if it's a white shirt, black tie event. So it'd be
James Bond is there.
Martini, maybe a mojito.
Why do you think it got so out of hand?
They're drunk, and they're British.
That makes sense.
Or maybe Scottish. Probably more Scottish. I imagine a Scot probably started that fight.
Because it's just like a clown walks in, and you're like, what the heck? And then you start beating. I don't know. Why is it so spread out? Why did the whole, I guess, drunk?
Everybody's drunk, and they're patriotic, so maybe he's like, screw the Brits or something rude.
Who knows?
Whatever you say over there to make the Brits mad.
Something.
And then it just kicked off into a giant fight.
A giant fight where families fought together.
Family fought in family groups.
All right. So we'll go from that bloodbath to 10 ridiculously overdue library books.
Oh, gosh.
That were finally returned.
Oh, okay. Now this is interesting.
All right. The Real Book About Snakes by Jane Sherman.
Oh.
Overdue 41 years.
41.
At 2 cents a day. So it was $299.
Oh, okay.
Sorry I've kept this book so long, but Sorry I've kept this book so long, but I am a really slow reader. I've enclosed my fine of $299
and 30 cents.
41 days, 2 cents a day. Once again, my apologies. The Fire of Francis Xavier by Arthur McGrady. 55 years.
55 years?
55 years. In
Good
2013, night. It was discreetly mailed into the...
Discreetly mailed.
It was discreetly mailed. Be on guard.
By the post office. There we go. Another postal.
There we go. The Adventures of Pinocchio. Oh my.
I didn't know there was a book called The Adventures of Pocono. Pocono.
Hey, it's like you talk like how I read. 63 years. The item found its way home during an 8-day fines amnesty period, which shielded the guilty patron from a 4,000, I believe, euro? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's a pound.
That's pound. 4,000 pound penalty, which is about $6,500.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think how much the library has changed since that book was taken out in 1950.
Yes. I'm just surprised they still had it on record, you know?
Well, I mean,
You think after it's been 50 years, scratch that one off?
somebody lost it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would figure.
They used the book for cigarettes. Master of Men by Phillips Ullman at the Leicester County Library in England. It was overdue for 79 years.
Good night.
Interest in insect. Nope. Law of the Nations by Emmerich de Valatin. Whatever.
Close enough.
Oh my. The New York Society Library in New York City was overdue for 221 years. 5 months into its first presidential term, 5 months into his first presidential term, George Washington borrowed this legal manifesto from the historic New York Society Library. For the next 221 years, it remained stowed away at his Virginia home. We're not actively pursuing overdue fines, joked a librarian, but we would be very happy to see the book returned. His wish was granted when Mount Vernon staff finally sent the book back in 2010. Luckily, they dodged the whopping $300,000 in late fees.
That's amazing.
And then the last one, The Ancient History of Egyptians, Austrians, Babylonians, Persians, and a bunch of other things. Volume 2 by Chris Rowland. The Grace Daughtry Library in Danville, Kentucky for over 150 years. That's how long it's been out.
Yeah, I think the George Washington's my favorite, though.
It's pretty good.
George Washington did not return a book.
But he didn't tell a lie, supposedly.
No. No. Yeah, that was
he
him.
supposedly chopped down a cherry tree, or apple tree.
No, a cherry tree.
Chopped down a tree. This is a story we've been told. Actually, he was a lizard.
He used a lizard?
He was a lizard. All the presidents are lizards.
All the presidents.
Except for Donald Trump. He's the only not lizard.
I think Donald Trump would be like a cat.
Everybody's in the Illuminati. Yeah, he's like a cat. Have you ever seen the video where he's pushing everything away from him?
No.
It's really funny. I'll show it to you later.
He's pushing everything away.
In 2013, this tome was discovered at a neighboring school for the deaf, where it had presumably been stored since 1854. As evidence by a note written inside dating that year, the library owns no records from this period. So exactly how long it was gone is anybody's guess.
Wow.
But it's been out of the library for at least 150 years.
That's incredible. And it actually returned home.
Yep, eventually.
It actually made it back to the library, which is impressive.
So
how much is those books worth now? That's the thing.
That is an interesting thing. Something I've been listening to, Inkheart.
Inkheart?
Inkheart. It's a pretty good book.
Okay.
I would recommend it. But something that they mention, it's a lot about books. It revolves around books. And one of the things that's really interesting that one of the characters brought up was, think of how many books just don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you can never find a copy. You can't find it on the internet because it was burned, or all of the copies were burned or lost. It's just crazy to think about.
Yeah, and think about art pieces.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a crazy thought, too, is over the years, all the art pieces that have been lost.
And that's why the really old ones are so sought after, because not
so
that many from that time exist.
Yeah, because they, a lot of them, some get stolen, some get lost. Yeah.
I mean, World War II is a good example of that, when they would just burn they tried to get rid of the Jews, and so they burned all the Jewish history and all the stuff it's lost.
Yeah, and there's places that, it got tucked away or burned or, stolen. It's just incredible the things that have been lost over time. It'll be interesting to see someday. There's a way to go back in time. Oh, that's what happened to that.
Oh, no. We do repeat history every 50 years.
It's probably not true. All right, so 3D printing.
3D printing.
Have you ever done much research into 3D printing?
I have not, but there's a joke about it on Family Guy where he 3D prints a wolf.
Does it move?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like it's a cartoon show, so they can do what they want.
That's true. And it's Family Guy. They just whatever. But anyways, so I just got done with speech class. And one of our topics was 3D printing. So I actually had to do a little research on it so that way I can actually tell people about it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about 3D printing. So did you know that the first 3D printer was actually made in 1985, 86?
I did not know that, but it wouldn't surprise me because we've had technology for a long time.
So we've had actual 3D printing for almost 30, 40 years now.
Oh, wow. It's just now getting the consumer.
Yeah, it's now just becoming consumer because what happened was around the early 2000s, or up to the early 2000s, it was mainly controlled by private corporations. And then what happened is somebody's like, you know what, let's open this up to other people, for individuals and small companies to get a hold of. And that's when it really started exploding. And what
did the Americans do first? Made a gun.
Yeah. We had a very interesting conversation about that. And we'll come back to the gun thing.
Oh, boy.
But anyways, so when that was done, individuals started marketing completely created 3D printers for individuals. And that's when it really started taking off. And so now, at this point in stage, they are making 3D printed lungs.
3D printed lungs.
Which are still in this.
Think about that. It's meat printing.
Basically, yeah. It's, well, not quite meat printing. It's a plastic product that your body will accept, is the best way to say it. But yeah, it's still in the beginning stages, but they're getting to the point where not only does it, swell and contract with your breathing, but it actually it regenerates that blood around it. So that way it actually,
crazy.
So they will at some point in the next 10 to 20 years be able to replace a lung.
It's amazing to me that we can put animal parts inside us.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy though.
Like I know somebody who has a piece of pig heart.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's doable. And they're actually doing hearts. They're working on hearts, bones. So if you lose a bone, they should be able to reprint a bone and put it back in, which is a crazy thought. And so or knees, so instead of getting like a metal replacement, knee replacement, instead of doing metal, they're working on one that your body will accept better and will be more natural.
Because you have to get a new knee replacement like every 20 years.
Something like that. So they're working on that, which is just insane. And that's just the medical side of it. And then, of course, there's the metal side. They have actually come out with a way to 3D print titanium.
What in the world?
Yeah, I think it's Southern California. It's like UCLA or University of California, whatever. But have a machine that'll print titanium. And so everybody knows Savage, right?
No, Adam
Savage.
Adam
Savage. So he has a new show, and he was like, hey, so they called him up and says, hey, if you ever need us to make anything out of titanium, just give us a call. And he's like, hey, can you make me a full Iron Man suit out of titanium? And they're like, sure, we'll make you one.
He's like, hey, I have a ton of money. I want to use it on making an Iron Man suit.
Exactly. So they made an Iron Man, one of the silver Iron Man outfits.
That is so cool.
And then the guy who has the jetpack, he came in, put the suit on, and flew around with his jetpack.
Oh my goodness.
It looked so cool.
That's sick.
So
We're getting close to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although it does, I would bet there's an Iron Man suit.
Like a full one with the actual glowing palms that actually work.
I would say we're testing it.
Probably somewhere there's something like that.
Again, we've had 3D printing since that long. We definitely have an Iron Man suit. And lightsabers. Ask Ronald Reagan.
Lightsabers, I mean, they have a style of lightsaber where they have it's basically titanium wrapped in something else, and they can heat up to over 3,000 degrees.
Yeah.
And they can cut metal and
You mean
blocks
there's not real Jedis that went out and found special crystals to make their own lightsaber?
As cool as that would be? No, unfortunately, no.
Lame.
But yeah, anyway, so 3D printing is becoming more and more epic. It's actually pretty easy to get your own. I mean, it's like $400 to $600, and you can buy yourself a little one that'll print decent size items.
Yeah. And like, I've seen people print gears for little things.
Yep.
And I think Sam, actually, our friend Sam, over at This Podcast is Lava, printed maybe, I don't know who was. I think it was him. Maybe not. Maybe I'm crediting the wrong person. But someone created a pencil holder that that had a phone charger holder.
Oh, nice.
I know how to speak words.
Yeah. I do know that Northwest State actually was one of the ones that created the hand. They 3D printed a prosthetic hand for a kid.
Weird.
For a child. So that way he could actually grab stuff. Like, all you had to do is like something and it would twist and grab stuff. It was pretty cool. So yeah, 3D printing is really actually going to change how things are made and sold here not too distant future. You could 3D print yourself a computer case that would look epic.
You can 3D print a lot of stuff.
Oh,
houses.
I
didn't have an example. Yeah, houses. That'll be interesting.
3D print houses. That's actually happening now. They have a system where they set up.
That's cheaper than doing other stuff.
Yeah, you can build yourself like a 500 square foot house for under $15,000.
What in the world? That's crazy.
Now, the machine probably costs a lot more than that.
Well,
But
you rent the machine.
Yeah. There's a company out of, Norway or somewhere like that that's doing it. And then there's a company down in Texas, I believe, that's doing it. And they're actually doing it for people that don't have homes. So like homeless or those overseas, in third world countries, they can make it for cheaper. So yeah, a lot of really, really cool stuff coming from 3D printing world.
And so what are you doing with 3D printing? Have you 3D printed something?
No.
You haven't?
I just wanted to talk about it.
Okay, I didn't know if they...
No, I'm not in that particular section. I mean, I could have joined the club that you can join and do, be a part of the 3D printing.
The 3D printing club?
Yeah. I looked it up.
I'm part of the Glee club, the chess club, the 3D printing club.
But that one would actually be cool. You're like, you know what? I want some Mandalorian armor. Go ahead, go online, find the blueprint, print it up, and you make yourself a Mandalorian helmet.
Ooh.
I mean, just stuff like that. You can just print whatever the heck you want, pretty much. You think you can build it.
And I think...
And code it.
I might be crossing science fiction here, but I think they're working on a way to 3D print food.
Oh, I don't doubt that they are.
Breaking down the molecular makeup of food and then making it so it comes out of a 3D printer.
I mean, you could pretty much already 3D print food. You have to have the material.
You have to have food to
the proper
print.
material to make it happen. You could easily print 3D food. It just has to have the proper material to be able to come out of the system.
Weird.
Yeah. And plus you can have them come out hot.
Come out hot? You can make hot.
Well, because the system is already most of the time melting.
Make a cheeseburger.
So for instance, the way a 3D printer works, how it operates is it has long sticks of plastic and it goes through basically a melting process and then it just lays it layer by layer.
Like hot glue.
Basically hot glue except plastic.
3D printing. Basically hot glue, but plastic.
Yeah. The wall. It's there.
So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for this podcast. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram for updates on what's going on and when the PastaCast is going to be uploaded.
PastaCast.
You can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, PodBean, and now you can watch our beautiful faces on YouTube.
I would say rugged would be better. I wouldn't say beautiful. I'd say rugged. Our rugged faces.
Our rugged faces.
We're not saying they're like ruggedly handsome. They're just rugged.
They're just rugged. Our wives like them, supposedly. So if you have any questions, topics, or if you want to be on the podcast.
So they say.
So they say. If you want to be on the podcast, you can message us on Facebook, Instagram, and email us at morningeggnog@gmail.com.
See ya.
Later.